starting off on a heavy note. Welcome to Don't Fibs Night In.
Yeah, this is like your favorite sitcom, best crossover. We got the whole squad in here.
Yep. I'm Zach Link. This is my partner.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Joey.
And I'm Ryan. We're going to start off with a little bit of a story about both of our podcasts.
I'm excited.
So, for those of you that don't know, me and Joey have been friends for a while, and we were
not as long as us, but...
How long have you guys been friends for?
Since birth.
Since birth.
We were born actually a week apart.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you guys like family friends then?
Yeah.
Okay.
We went on vacation together, actually. Our families.
Oh, basically.
Yeah.
That was when you both did the cornrows, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
the cornrows.
Yeah, right.
I was like Tyler Hero for a few minutes there.
Yeah, a little bit. But, me and Joey almost can beat that. We are kindergarten, I think, so... But yeah, so we the way we started this podcast basically was we were talking on PS4 one night and we had some funny conversations going, and then we were like, we should start a podcast.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was a little too soon to when the plan was we were both going to go to college. Joey just went to college. Now we're both going to college now. Mm-hmm. So we had to wait till Thanksgiving when he'd be back to start doing it. In that time, of course, Link starts his own podcast.
Well, yeah.
And I remember we send it to each other. We were like, oh my God, people are going to think we're like copying these two just to stay relevant. And, yeah, so.
Which, I mean, probably not too far from the truth, right?
It's not. I mean, you guys are
just two awesome high schoolers, very handsome, very funny, just definitely trying to be like us, it seems like.
Two former high school burnouts who are just throwing a Hail Mary trying to stay relevant.
Trying to relive the
I mean, you could try, yeah.
High school. So.
No, but the most hilarious part about that is I remember, so I was at school, I remember I went to class, and it was like midday, and I remember my phone, like random people were kind of like texting me and like snapping me. And shout out to these people who gave absolutely no context. They'd be like, so did you see the news? And I'd be like, because we told a few people about what we were doing. And they were like, did you see the news? And I was like, what news are you talking about? And then you finally like open up the gram and you see it. And I'm not talking about like, I don't know. It was like disappointing, but I'm like, how could I possibly like be mad at someone else?
Right.
Like, we never talked about it with you guys.
Yeah.
And I remember people would... Like, some people were like, yo, you guys going to fight them if we get done? Like,
yeah.
Sitting across the table, I think they can take me. So
everyone wanted to see beef.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I was thinking. Because, like, as soon as you guys made yours, I was like, oh, man, I didn't know they were making one either. So, like, it was kind of a...
You weren't that happy about it.
No, I wasn't. No. I wasn't. I'm going to be honest. I was like, well, that sucks. I mean, I was kind of like... I mean, now it's different because, we're doing it together, obviously, so it's not like I'm like furious. But like when I was doing it, I was like, man, like I kind of like was like, dude, I thought we started this. I thought it was like an original idea. I didn't know other people were gonna be doing this because I actually heard about like a junior that actually wants to do one too, and I'm like, bro, now there's like 3 of them, like, but like I think it's cool though because it's something like to do other than like sitting in your basement playing video games. It's like more productive, and it's definitely like pretty fun because you're having the same conversations on here, like you said, like on the PS4 party. You're going to be doing the same thing on there than you are on here. Maybe a little bit more censored,
less name dropping.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing too that I always think about is like it's less of like the competition because neither of us have like a big following.
Right. It's not like we're making money off this. Like it's really just for fun at this point.
I mean, there's definitely a majority of people that know who you guys are and follow your podcast,
right?
And there's people that follow ours that don't know each other's exist.
Exactly.
So if we can get a little bit of exposure
I think that's
for
it. I think this was a perfect time to do it too, right before you go back away, because like you're going to be meeting more people.
That's true.
You're meeting people in college all the time,
this flag
probably.
Is going up in the dorm. Free advertising.
That's awesome,
Hopefully
dude.
a boys' night in flag gets made soon.
Dude, I asked for one for Christmas actually, so I'm hoping to get that up in the basement. I think it'd be cool.
Definitely.
Christmas this year or like last year? You might have to wait a minute if you're waiting for
No, but like you guys, we did talk about this for a long time. I think we were just more like quiet about it. Like it was like us and like maybe Jake knew.
Yeah.
And it was like that's it. And then we kind of like surprised everyone when we dropped it. But it was very similar to you guys, like where it was just like we thought about it for a while and then ended up doing it.
And so it always like coulda, woulda, shoulda. We were like, what if we started this in like March when people had nothing to do?
Dude, 100%.
And now, unfortunately,
definitely, I didn't even think about that. March, people were just sitting in their house. What else are they going to do?
Exactly.
Watch a podcast.
Yeah, because I mean, at the beginning of quarantine, it was like to the point where my mom wouldn't even let like Caleb in the house, and he lives 4 houses down. Like we were hanging out outside, and she's like, "You can't touch the basketball." Like we couldn't even play basketball because my mom's like, "You have to sit away from him." And like, because like we didn't really know what the virus was. Like to be honest, I mean, we didn't really know like how it spread as much or anything like that. So we were just kind of like sitting outside talking in the chairs, and that's honestly how it was. Like, dude, we should start a podcast.
Yeah,
and then.
You guys came up with it that long ago?
Yeah.
It was in March?
It was like in March.
And it didn't come to fruition until what, like September?
Yeah, because like
or August, I think.
At first because we could like he couldn't come in my house, and I was like, well, we have this mic, like we could, like that's perfect because it's like a perfect way to start. But then after that, we just like kind of got lazy, and we were just hanging out every day, like. And during summer, I mean, you know how summer is. It's just like you're going out and doing stuff every day. So we were like, whatever. But then one night we were like, bro, let's just start the podcast tonight. And then that's when we recorded a podcast that was about an hour long. And maybe one day if we blow up, we'll release it. But there's a lot of name dropping in there. Lots of name dropping. Lots of lots of sensitive stuff in there. So we decided not to ever release that. Kind of just in the drafts. But
yeah, right on. So, and I thought it was cool because obviously. Like, you guys are still in high school, and we're, like, only a year older than you guys.
Right.
But this is a question I was kind of wondering because, like, it seems like, you know, you guys have known each other for the longest time. We've known each other for a long time. We both had the not very original idea of a podcast come through. But, like, if we were the same age, do you think we'd be, like, hanging out and stuff? Like, do you think we'd be cool?
100%. I mean, I was, like, if we were in the same grade, dude, I feel like me and Brett would have been friends a long time ago because we didn't start talking until it was gym. Because we were locker buddies in gym.
We were locker buddies in gym.
Dude, honestly,
I remember ranting to Link about basketball stuff in the locker room too.
Because I mean, I think I said it in like my final speech before we like it was like our last game of the season. Everyone was going around saying stuff. Like you had a very heartfelt message, and everyone was saying stuff. And then I gave a shout out to you and Stroko because. Like I was considering not even trying out for the team because my sophomore year I didn't really like enjoy it because like it was a different environment with the team and stuff. Like we didn't really like have that camaraderie that I felt our team had. But just talking to you and you and Soroka in the locker room just made me kind of want to like actually go into basketball because I was like, you know, like maybe it'll be fun. Like these guys seem cool, so I'll do it.
Yeah, but I definitely think that's a hard question though to answer too. Like like we're friends now. Obviously, like we're different like times in our lives, even though it's only a year. But like you don't know like because a lot of your life, I saw something. It's like a lot of your friends are kind of dictated by like who you sit next to in like these classes.
100%,
100%. So it's like who knows what would have happened. It's like definitely like I mean we think each other are kind of like. Chill now, but like who knows what?
Right, because I mean it goes back to even elementary school, and like in elementary school and through middle school, you're only in classes with people in your grade, so it's like you have no opportunity to talk to anyone in the upper classes or anything. So like once you get to high school, that's your only opportunity, and I don't really think we didn't have anything together, and I didn't think I have anything with you. And honestly, this is the first time I think we've had a conversation together. Like even
this is raw stuff here, guys.
I dapped him up for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And
I think
we got it on film. We'll drop the dap.
The first
later.
dap up. That's the preview.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Like it's one of those things where I think it's cool about the podcast because it reaches a different audience, and some like random people probably watch this. And one of the things that I kind of took away is some people are like, "Oh, you know what you said here was pretty funny," or "This person thought it was cool," and I'm like. Like, I didn't, like, I'm not really, like, that social of a person. So I, like, wouldn't blame you guys if you said, like, I didn't even know who you were until, like, a week ago or until you made the podcast. Right. And that's kind of how, like, I knew who you were a little bit. And I'm going to be honest, no idea. And it's just because of, but it's one of those things, like, you don't even, like, see these, you don't ever cross paths.
It's
ever.
Just, right. That's what high school is, especially in ours, because our high school is pretty big. We have a ton of kids. I mean, you could see someone new every day if you really tried to, like, pay attention. I mean, there's kids that you are like, I've never seen that kid before. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, like, thinking about that because, I mean, obviously we have different friend groups now, but who knows what would have happened if if you were a grade lower, if I was a grade above, or vice versa. I don't know.
Yeah, that it's all cliquey, and it's like we're all the same age. It's me and Caleb hanging, you two hanging.
Right.
Bar,
Like, what if you guys were best friends, and then me and him were best friends? Like,
that'd be weird.
That would be.
It's like a whole different, like, alternate reality.
Like, what if I knew you at this point?
That's really young. That's like 5th grade. I was QB that year. That's a football.
Well, mad respect.
Should've kept playing.
Dude, I 100% agree.
Would have battled out Bruno for QB1.
Back in my days, I was the backup QB to Joe Cimino.
And you think that was pretty rigged. You thought there was some favoritism.
I definitely did. Back in the day, I was like, man, I should be the quarterback. It's just because his dad's the coach. But now looking at it, he's actually like good in high school and stuff. I'm like, I don't think I'd be at that point.
Yeah, like, speaking of high school sports, so like obviously, really the only time or the first time I really like knew who you were was because like at these games, man, like you're, and I'm not gonna like belittle anyone, but you're like on the bench, but you go like insane for some of this stuff.
Dude.
And there's one thing that I just want to point out, and it's like I have like the utmost respect for that because I think nowadays you see it the most. And some of these kids, like you watch them and you see stuff on like Twitter, and you have to look at them and ask them like, do you even like what you're doing? Because if something doesn't go right for them, like they don't play or they're not getting as much time as they think, they either want to quit or they try and become like a cancer and they're like, yo, this is rigged or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so for someone who might not be getting a lot of minutes to still like come in and be like, I can contribute to a team in one way or another. Right. Like, I like to consider you like a dying breed. Like there's not many who are willing to put in work.
I'm different. Unicorn.
Well, that's the thing too, though. Like we go to such a big school. And we had a good team, fortunately. Like we had a lot of talent. So it's like, who knows? Like you put you on majority of other high schools, like there's a chance that you're probably gonna play. Like and that's why it's like respect too. Like
and I mean that goes back even to my sophomore year. I remember sitting on the bench next to him because he was our manager sophomore year. I remember sitting on the bench. I don't know if you remember this, but we were actually playing carry, and I was like, bro, I am 100 times definitely better than some of these kids on carry at this point because my freshman year I was coming off. I mean, I still played B, but I felt like I could have played A because I won like the B MVP thing where I had like the most points and stuff. But sophomore year I like felt like completely like disrespected, but that's where like my mindset, I was like, dude, I have to like change this because if I want to even be on the team next year, I know I'm not gonna play. Because I've seen you guys play before. It's like you guys are all bigger than me. You guys are all definitely more skilled than me. Like I need to find
not much bigger.
like I need to find my niche, you know. Like I need to find like what I can contribute, and so I just kind of like adopted that mindset and was like, you know, like I gotta be the best at something, and I want to be the best at whatever I can do, and that's kind of like what happened. And I feel like, I mean, you said you only knew who I was like from that game or whatever the first time you saw me, and I feel like that's like what happened with a lot of the seniors. Like I feel like probably no one really knew who I was, and then like at the games, like they saw me, and then I ended up like hanging out with all you guys all the time. Like,
I definitely didn't know Link until you start hanging out with team dinners and stuff, and then, like you get to know the kid. But no, like going back to that too, that's like such an underrated part of like our success too, was the bench like being the way it was, and Link was definitely like one of the leaders on there. Obviously, you had like guys like Roth and Josh who were like the seniors, and, like a
absolutely.
Bench. But and like you said too, going back to like the B stuff, guys like that. People don't know this about me. I was a B team player freshman year. I played some A minutes. Sophomore year, I was a bench player. Rode the bench a lot. Yeah. And then junior and senior year, I ended up playing. But, like, it's a lot of times, like, no disrespect to people who start off and are better at that age. But, like, when you learn kind of, like, what it's like to be at the bottom, you kind of, like, know you're better off when you're farther along.
Absolutely. So. I totally know what you mean. Because, like, it makes it that much more important, or like that much like cooler once you finally get to that point where you're like feeling like you're making a difference, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, and like I even like with the sports talk, I remember I played high school football and I played fullback, man. People are like, yeah, man, offensive line, they don't get enough credit. Bro, be a high school fullback. You will never get written about. Like, and it's one of those things like that never bothered me because I knew like people like respected, like the people who I was blocking for definitely respected what I did. But I remember even junior year, and like I thought I was the hottest stuff ever because like I was starting first game as a junior. Yeah. And it was like really like downhill after that. And I remember I would go to practice and it seemed like every day day I was just getting yelled at. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, that was one of those moments where it's like you're at the bottom, and I'm like, bro, like, why am I doing this?
Right.
And one of the things I always remembered is, like, I remember when I was a kid, when I was that fathead, I remember how excited I used to be. Yeah, that used to show emotion.
Here's the guy.
Yeah, I used to be so excited to go to practice just because I like loved the sport. And
Absolutely.
I was like, obviously everybody wants to be, like an All-American. Everybody wants to be written about and talked
Yeah.
about. But that's not always going to be the case. And once I decided, like, all right, if I can play my role, if I can work to get better and stuff like that, like, it's so much more satisfying than just, like, having it all handed to you.
Dude, I 100% agree. I mean, like, there's kids on the team that I know that I feel like don't have the, like, athletic gifts, but they work so hard to get to where they are. And I feel like that is just, like, one of the coolest things. Like you might have started at a younger age working so hard, but, like, still, like, working that hard for so long, I feel like that's a huge thing, and it's, like, something to be very proud of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've done a lot of... Do you guys have, like, any questions for us? Like, I feel like we've been asking you guys.
I mean, I haven't really asked many people this, but I was just going to ask you, like, what is the college life like without, like, going... Like, do you go to class? Like, what is it? What even is it?
Well, it's cool because some schools are, like, totally, like, against going to class, like, 100%.
Yeah.
And then at that point, like, you're going to, like, Khan Academy with some guy teaching you.
It's expensive Khan Academy.
But I'm fortunate enough to where, and it really just depends on the school, but I'm fortunate enough to go to a school where it's like they tried to do as much as they could in person.
Yeah.
Smaller. If it was like a lecture, that's going to be online. But like if it's like a discussion where there's only like 30 kids, you just kind of like space them out.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And the biggest thing for me is there were times where I was like, yo, this kind of sucks. Like, this isn't what it should be.
Right.
Especially when you go to, like, such a big school and you feel like you're not getting the best experience.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I can make something out of a really bad year, like, imagine what it's going to be like when this isn't an issue and I'm not going to have to worry about, like, COVID and wearing a mask and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's like making friends and stuff like that. Like, again, I'm not the most social person.
Yeah.
But... add having a mask, like, I can't even tell if I've seen half of these people before.
Dude,
because it's like, you get, like, people talk about catfish, it's like mask fish. Like, somebody takes their mask off, and I was like, that is not what I expected you to
mask
ask.
can do wonders for people, but it can also hurt people.
100%. The thing is, though, like, when you're talking to people for the first time, or, like, even like, if I'm talking to my mom or dad and they have a mask on, it, like, the biggest thing, like, when you're talking to people, you don't realize it, but you try and read their, like, facial expressions. You can't do any of that when they have masks on. Like, you can't tell if the person's laughing at what you said or, like just, like, staring at you. Like, it's just, I don't know, it makes things very weird.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. But I think we have one more topic Link wanted to talk about. Link got his first pedicure the other day.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, guys, you cannot hate until you try it. Like, because I was the ultimate hater. My mom was like, come on, just come get a pedicure with us. I was like, no, Mom, that's weird. But then I get there, they put my feet in, like, this hot water, and then she starts, like, massaging my legs, puts, like, lotion on it and stuff. Great feeling. Great. And my feet were so soft after. I mean...
That's what I'm saying too. The feet look great. Like,
the feet do look great.
One right before summer, so like you go out
oh
the
yeah,
beach and stuff,
if you're at the
beach,
that's one less thing to worry about. Because like at the beach, everyone's a little bit insecure sometimes. Like if you have your shirt off and like you're more exposed at the beach than you would be any normal time. So like. But that's one less thing to be insecure about. You can't hate on the feet now. I just got a pedicure.
So I should go to the beach and be like, guys, I might not be ripped. I might not have a six-pack.
Exactly.
I might have, like, scars or whatever. But look at my feet.
That's what I'm saying.
Awesome.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it overrules everything else. It's great.
That has been noted in the back of my mind. Summer 2021. Pedicures all summer long.
Yeah, certainly.
All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for our crossover episode. We've had a lot of fun, obviously, having these guys on. We hope that you guys stayed until the end. We always end things with saying subscribe and like the video. So make sure you subscribe to their channel. They were nice enough to come out here and do this favor for us. Do you have any last words?
Thank you guys for watching Don't Fibs Night In. I feel like that's honestly a pretty dope name.
That was we came up with that on the spot.
Yeah, we did. There was no thought process behind that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching if you guys did stick to the end. And we will be definitely pumping out more content because we've been slacking recently. So so I'm glad you guys agreed to do this with us. And thank you guys for watching.
Good night.